Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen W. Long. This is The Writing Life, and just really extra pleased to have these guests today. Levi Laws is a teacher at Mac High, but I got to meet him because he volunteered for the Terroir Creative Writing Festival. And we talked about this as an appropriate place to chat, but then better yet, we've got a couple of students as well. And Levi, I was going to ask you, and I should have done it before we started, Rory, you're the president. So what are you?
I'm the advisor.
The advisor,
Yeah,
okay.
So I help oversee and run the club with these two.
Okay. So this is the poetry club. And I'm just, this is a representation, but you have a lot of students, right?
Yeah, we do. Coming off last year, we averaged so for our two main things that we do for club meetings, we averaged about 24 average members. And then for our open mic fundraisers, it was something about 120, 130 people per open mic.
My gosh.
Yeah.
And is that open to anyone?
Yeah, so the ones that we do at the school are open to students and staff.
Okay.
And then the ones that we started to do last year, which will continue into this year, which are out in the community, anybody can come and sign up and join.
So a couple things. You said it's a fundraiser?
Yeah, those are usually fundraisers.
So you like there's a donation to participate?
Yeah, so for the ones at the school, it's $5 a ticket for anybody who's not a student or staff member.
Okay.
And you just pay at the door or buy tickets ahead if you come talk to me. And then the ones in the community are usually free, and then we just take donations if you.
Okay.
And we have raffles and whatnot as well.
But now a ticket gets you get to attend,
Yep.
I guess. How do you get to read your work if that's the case?
Yeah, so we have usually a couple different ways to sign up. Usually we have flyers around our schools. You can sign up there, come talk to me. Our Instagram usually has the information at Grizzly Poetry Club. And then if it's a community one, same kind of thing. We'll display flyers in the community wherever the one is. Like, for example, we had one at Mac Market recently.
Right.
And we just plastered flyers around the community and around our school. And anybody who wanted to sign up could follow the link on there and go with their name on it.
Okay. Before we go on, I was just too excited to start. I did introduce Levi, but Rory Blankenship and Mik Cruz, I wanted to get you guys up there, so when you start signing autographs, they'll know what's what. So I was thinking about when I was a high school student, and I don't, honestly, I didn't come to poetry till much later. And I'm wondering, so when you have a club meeting, what is that like? I mean, well, what is it like?
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about what that's like for students? Like, what is it like for you guys?
You want to go first or should I?
Go first.
Okay. So basically how we start out is people come in and they sign in with a little Google form for attendance, and basically we sit down and then our snack is announced for after school stuff and we go grab that. And then we have announcements, which like we introduce events or things that we're going to be doing throughout the year to the club. And then we have either an activity that Mr. Laws makes for us, like I think we've done like cohesive poems where we like all make a poem together.
Oh,
and then we've done other activities like practicing our performance, like repeating sentences louder and louder so that we can feel more comfortable performing.
Okay.
And so we work on that with Mr. Laws, but sometimes we have our like sharing time, which is where we share our poems and we get feedback on them from club members.
Okay. That's way better than I envisioned. Just because I didn't know what it would, if you just come and read your work or talk about Emily Dickinson, or I don't know what you did. And did you want to add something, Mik?
I think we just didn't mention circle time. It's kind of like our thing, I guess. Like at the beginning of club, after snack, we all like get in a circle and we do this thing where we each have to share a positive thing and a negative thing, like whichever, or just one, whichever you choose. And I don't know, it's kind of sweet. You get to know things about people.
So something in your life, you mean? A positive, okay.
Yeah. It's a good way for them to get connected, get to know each other. Because it's an intimidating thing to go to a random space and share personal writing with people that you don't really know, right? So this is a good way for them to just get a snapshot of like, okay, what's this person's life like this week? Right. And how can I connect to them?
Oh, I just think that's great. I remember hearing about a teacher, this was in a grade school class, but the first day of class, she had people, the students, write down some, I don't know that she used the word intimate, but something that's really personal that maybe you don't want to share.
Yeah.
So they wrote it down, and then she said, okay, now tear it up and throw it away. And what as a writer, what that does is it lets you know that your work is yours, and you don't have to share it till you're ready to share it. But I think that, again, I think it's great. At this time of the year, now, I mean, the school year is done.
Sure.
But do you feel like you've made those connections? I mean, this is a year-long club, I guess. Yeah?
What do you guys think?
I think I have. I think
Yeah.
I've talked to people who I never really thought I could talk to before.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I would think that maybe expose is the wrong word, but when you share poetry, it is personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't always have to be. That's the beauty about writing is it's just whatever you want it to be, right? But a lot of times it is, and a lot of times it's vulnerable, and it's a piece of who you are. It's a piece of your soul. And so I'm always inspired and astonished at how willing and brave a lot of the students are that come up and share, pieces of their soul with a bunch of different people. It's an important thing. It's hard for adults to do.
It is.
So
I was thinking, very young children seem to have less embarrassment. As an example, when you're learning to talk, you say things incorrectly. But the way that you get to learn is to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something.
repetition,
Yeah, yeah. And I think being unafraid
definitely.
helps. I maybe had a bit of a misconception about the club then, but do you then introduce poets, the kids to the poets, or?
At times I'll bring in some poetry that they haven't heard before. I try to, make sure they're well read. We've given away poetry books before to make sure that
Yeah.
they're getting their feet in the door. I have I don't know them all by heart. I should probably, but I have a list of like sort of 10 laws of poetry that I have them kind of follow. And one of them is that to be a good poet, you have to read poetry, right? So we try to read as much poetry as we can, or be exposed to as much poetry as we can.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was in a kind of a high-end critique class for prose. And you had to audition to get in, and it was very limited. There was only 6 spots, and a spot opened up, and somebody auditioned. And we I questioned them, we talked to them. And one of the last questions was, well, what do you read? And the woman said, well, I don't read, I don't have time. Well, if you don't read, you can't write.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So now is the poetry club somehow linked to an association with a class as well, or no?
Not yet. They don't know it yet, though. But I've been over the summer. Over the summer, I've been developing curriculum for a creative writing class at our school.
Great.
So I'm hoping those classes have to be pitched to the administration, and then they kind of decide. But hoping that eventually it'll be tied to a class one day, but not as of right now. It's been a while since Mac has had a creative writing class, from what I understand. But I'd like to bring that back in some way because I feel like it's something that students need in their lives.
I am relating it to when I was in school. I don't know that the staff would think that there was time. In other words, in order of importance, is it important enough to put it in a slot?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity cost. So if you do that, then you're not doing something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, good luck with that.
We'll try.
All right. I warned you I was going to give you a tough question.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. And this is for each of you. You each get a turn. But I wanted to preface it by saying I also asked this question of our current poet laureate. So you're in good company. And like I said before, there's no wrong answer. So you ready?
Sure.
What is poetry?
Oh man, I feel like we talk about this a lot.
We do.
Any of you want to start? Or you want me to start?
You can start.
Let me start. For me, I mean, this is the thing I think is the answer is going to change with every single person. But
Okay.
for me, poetry is like salvation. For me, I didn't fall into being in love with reading until later, but I've always been in love with writing in my life. And I grew up in sort of a underprivileged area, an underprivileged house. Went through the foster care system for a bit. And the one consistent I always had in my life was being able to just have a journal and write my thoughts and feelings out in it. So for me, it allowed myself a way to healthily express emotion. It's a way for me to connect with others who are like-minded. It's a way to hone a skill and practice a craft, which I think is an important thing. Like, I feel proud of myself when I've completed something that I've spent a lot of time on, and that's something I feel like is an important part of poetry. It allows you to feel that sense of proudness for creation of something that didn't exist before,
Sure.
adds something new to the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back. What do you guys think?
Rory.
What is poetry to you guys?
Yeah.
I guess I'll start out with poetry to me is definitely the most rawest form of art because you can look at an art piece and you can think, oh, the artist probably meant to do this. But then the artist would be like, oh, that's a mistake. And that comes with performing too. Sometimes I make mistakes when I'm performing and they end up adding to the entire performance. Right. And I feel like poetry, you can really do anything with it. There's so many different styles of stanzas and writing, and it's open to anybody that wants to express themselves. I mean, me personally, it was a really good outlet because, you know, when I was struggling with my emotions and how to express them or how to feel them, poetry was always just there. Yeah. You know, and I love reading ever since I was younger, you know, always doing the library summer reading stuff through the community and the little tango boxes that they had us do. It was always something that I loved doing. And I discovered that, hey, writing is amazing, and I love writing. I like writing short stories and short poems, and usually my poems run a little longer, but I do love writing as a whole. But poetry to me it's just open for anybody to be able to, you know, write down their feelings and express themselves.
So before we move on, to me, you were kind of in two dimensions, two areas, and one was the performance of the poem, and one was the writing the poem itself. So when you're writing a poem, you might edit, but I don't know that that's a mistake. But you said you might make a mistake, so that's in the performance, I guess. Would that be? I don't know. I meant to evoke anger, or I meant to evoke happiness, but it came out different. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
As if like you meant to say something more boldly and it came out more quiet.
Sure.
But then you were able to, you know, have that bold voice in a different part of the poem. You can really experiment with what tones you use for different stanzas.
Okay. That ties into something I actually want to come back to.
Okay.
Mik, what do you think?
Honestly, they're both very similar, but I feel the opposite. For me, poetry is more kind of like a wake-up call. As a kid, I never really wrote. I read a lot, but I never thought I could write. So I was always reading, and I was always reading poetry and kind of the message it gave me and not the message I could give in comparison to how people see it. People think poetry is like how you can express yourself, and it is, and I completely agree. And even now, like, I see it that way. But I think what got me into poetry is the message that it gave me and the strength that it gave me, and not necessarily what I could do with it, but what it helped me do. Oh,
that's and where do you think that came from? In the sense of, did that come from the author of the poem, or was it sort of ethereal? The notion is floating up here, regardless of the source. It's up here, and you took something from it.
I think definitely more that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, the author definitely, like, depending who the author is, what they went through, what they experienced, adds on to the meaning to the poem. But just in general, like, you can take something from anything, or at least I can.
Sure.
Which is what helped me a lot.
Sure. A friend of mine is an author, and she wrote a scene where the protagonist is going through a carnival, and along the way stops at the booth or the event where you take a hammer and you hit the thing and it goes up and rings the bell, and then they go on. And she was at a presentation, and one of the audience said, when I read that, I realized that it was a metaphor for, you know, succeeding in life or something. And the author said to us, okay, I was just trying to get it from here to there. But so that's an example of taking something, you found something in it. All right, so what I wanted to come back to a little bit was poetry for you was a refuge,
Sure.
A kind of a place to go. And a friend of mine had a tough upbringing, and for him it was music. Mm-hmm. And what you said about performance reminds me of music too. And so there's, you know, they talk about the music of language or something, but it's kind of all there.
Yeah, I think they're intertwined. I myself play music and write and publish music as well. So like they're for me, they've always been intertwined. I play guitar and write to guitar, but I see them as one and the same. So like when I talk about poetry, I see like lyrics to a song as poetry.
Oh, sure.
Or like the sounds of a guitar can be poetic, right? It's not like literal written poetry, but
sure.
It has poetic qualities. So,
and I think that may relate to an emotion.
Yeah, for sure.
So the words can evoke an emotion, or the sound can evoke an emotion.
Definitely.
Yeah. You guys did great. That was a tough one.
They're smart. I don't. They're
Yeah.
smart people.
So you maybe touched on this. I was going to ask you what appeals to you about poetry, but maybe you've said.
I don't know. Do you guys feel like we didn't say anything that, like, what else appeals to you about poetry?
I guess the community that you can form without even realizing it.
Oh, okay.
Because when you get feedback from our club members and you give positive feedback to them, it encourages them to keep coming back, you know? Like they feel safer with us because we're not judgmental and we're not going to tell them, oh, well, you can't write like this or you can't say this, you know? It's very accepting and a forgiving club.
Yeah.
And I think that creates for a very close, strong community.
Yeah.
I think it does, and I think, again, because it's so personal, maybe even more than prose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what
I
do you
agree.
think?
I
Yeah,
think there's a space for everyone.
yeah.
So
Anything that could be fine art, but you make yourself vulnerable when you put it out there. But I think probably with all of them, I was going to say especially poetry, but one of the goals I think is connection.
Yeah.
And so then if you're going to reach out for connection, that's a risk.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're kind in your response, that's what makes you, that's how you grow, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, a huge part of life, right? We all just want to be loved and
Sure.
accepted. And I think I don't know, maybe I can't speak for you guys, but for me at least, that's been a huge part of this. Like, especially as a younger teacher, going into it your first couple of years, you're like, I don't know if this is going to,
Right.
I don't know if the kids are going to respond to me or if,
Yeah.
if I'm going to make sense or whatever. But like, this space has helped me feel connected as well. So it's like, it's a mutual relationship, right? Like everybody feels connected with it.
Yeah, it's great. Guys, I don't want to run out of time.
Sure.
So
Yep.
we were going to do some reading.
Yeah.
Let's, if they're not so long, could each of you read like a favorite poem that's not yours?
Sure. Do you guys want to start?
Nick, how about you?
Make you
on my
start.
phone.
Is it on your phone?
Yeah.
Same.
Can they grab it out on their phone? Is that okay?
Sure.
Do you have your phones on you?
Oh,
Yeah, Mary Oliver.
Yeah. I read her book last year, her Devotions. I think
Devotions
it was
is great,
called.
yeah.
And this was one in there, and it just kind of stood out to me. I don't know why, nothing specific. Maybe I like geese. But it goes, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Yeah, thank you. And she's terrific.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
really
is.
great.
She writes about death, I think, doesn't she?
as well.
Yeah, Mary Oliver. Rory, what do you think?
I chose Daddy by Sylvia Plath.
Oh, sure.
You do not do any more black shoe, in which I had lived like a foot for 30 years, poor and white, barely daring to breathe or eschew. Daddy, I have had to kill you. You died before I had time, marble heavy, a bag full of God, ghastly statue with one gray toe, big as a Frisco seal, and a head in the freakish Atlantic where it pours green over blue in the waters of beautiful Nauset. I used to pray to recover you, ach du. In the German tongue and the Polish town, scraped flat by the roller of wars, wars, wars. But the name of the town is common. My Polak friend says there are a dozen or two, so I could never tell where you put your foot, your root. I never could talk to you. The tongue stuck in my jaw. It stuck like a barbed wire snare. Eek, eek, eek. I could hardly speak. I thought every German was you, and the language of skiing, an engine, chuffing me off like a Jew. A Jew to Dachu, Auschwitz, Berlin. I began to talk like a Jew. I think I may well be a Jew. The snows of Tyrol, the clear beer of Vienna, are not very pure or true. With my gypsy ancestress and my weird luck, and my Tark pack, I may be a bit of Jew. I have always been scared of you. Not God, but a swastika, so no black sky could squeak through. Every woman adores a fascist, the boot in the face, the brute. Brute of a heart of a brute like you. You stand at the blackboard, Daddy, in the picture I have of you, a cleft in your chin instead of your foot. Any less than less the black man who bit my pretty red heart in two. And a love of the rack and the screw, and I said, I do. So daddy, I'm finally through. The black telephone's off at the root. The voices just can't worm through. If I've killed one man, I've killed two. The vampire who said he was you and drank my blood for a year, 7 years, if you want to know. Daddy, you can lie back now. There's a stake in your fat black heart, and the villagers never liked you. They are dancing and stamping on you. They always knew it was you. Daddy, daddy, you bastard, I'm through.
Wow. I was thinking of the difference between the two poets.
Very different.
One is very much about life, I think, or appreciation of life, and Sylvia Plath has a kind of a different, her end and so on.
Yeah.
So I hope we can sneak in time to maybe analyze that a little bit.
So much to analyze.
Yeah. Levi, how about?
Yeah, I chose James Baldwin. He's
Yeah.
always been one of my favorite writers. I just think he's wonderful. So I have a poem by him called Conundrum. Between holding on and letting go, I wonder how you know the difference. It must be something like the difference between heaven and hell. And how, in advance, can you tell? If letting go is saying no, then what is holding on saying? Come, can anyone be held? Can I? The impossible conundrum, the closed circle. Why does lightning strike this house and not another? Or is it true that love is blind until challenged by the drawbridge of the mind? But saying that one's forced to see one's definitions is unreal. We do not know enough about the mind or how the conundrum of the imagination dictates, discovers, or can dismember what we feel or what we find. Perhaps one must learn to trust one's terror. The holding on, the letting go is error. The lightning has no choice. The whirlwind has one voice.
Wow. How different each of those authors are.
Yeah.
And their message. I do want to get to your own work. Let's go the other way.
Sure, you're gonna go this way.
Sure.
I brought a piece. I'm working on my second poetry book. I'm planning on publishing it hopefully end of this year, beginning of next year, called The Mirror in the Window. It's sort of all about like familial trauma and healing from that. So this is one that's from that called Airplanes in the Living Room.
Okay.
I have flown so far away from your airplanes in the living room, swinging me back and forth. That was the highest you would ever take me. Flesh and blood is fragile and firm. I thought I had never seen you happier than in those moments. Our plane ran through a misty storm, bringing with it all the uncertainty and none of the purification of our environment. My wings broke when your landing gave way. You lost sight in the storm. I lost sight out of the rearview as my shuttle pulled away. Memories of cracked concrete with busted rims from worn hands. I had to convince you I was not alone. They were yours. Why could you not see myself in them? There would be no time for questions. Your fickle promises proved to be so. Run. Now they would not be the only one forgotten. Years and death's door brought us back. Your original home and my makeshift in your absence was begging for a promise to be kept. For me, if anyone, come together, fly. I wonder now if you ever hear her voice. I still hear it all the time. I wonder who she would blame, but she wouldn't. She was unlike the two of us. I see other planes lifted off from time to time. I wonder if you ever miss the feeling of my mushy stomach and broken souls. I hope theirs land safely. That was mine.
So given the little bit of history that you let us know,
Sure.
that really resonates.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's very much you.
Yeah.
I wonder if a cold reader would know that. And maybe they would. That's an honest
Yeah.
question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about like interpretation, right? Like,
Sure.
Like Mik was talking about earlier. I don't mind if they don't get what my message is for it, but I hope they take something from it.
Some message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rory, what you got?
Well, this one is called Not My Mother, and I don't have it written down on paper, but I
Okay.
wrote this one recently.
Okay.
It's kind of about the rejection that step-parents initially get from children.
Okay.
It started right after, no dignity existed, papers and flowers in my arms, my lips are bloody again, it is not fair, please she has taken so much, I have nothing left to steal. The lady who did my acrylics called you my mom, it couldn't be further from the truth, you do not know anything. My nail beds are broken and cracked, I won't stop tearing. The cheap curtains, the shoddy lamps, the tan couch, that was my childhood once, you didn't deserve any of it. She didn't raise me. The word stepmother fermented in our mouths. Foam dripped down my chin. I tried to brush my teeth. Maybe they wouldn't look so black without your name on them. You won't stop tearing. My mother painted me on a canvas with only 3 colors, blues, purples, and pinks. I was her little girl she still wants me to be. I am lucky beyond belief. You tried to draw yourself in red ink, a scraggly sketch by my side. It wasn't right because you will never be my mother.
Yeah. We were talking about, what is poetry and what's the value of poetry. And it's not a play on words, I guess, but just the words themselves. Fermented in my mouth. That's pretty good. What you got?
This one I also wrote pretty recently. I've been kind of like on a self-discovery journey.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of been writing my feelings out, and this one kind of spurred in the moment. It's awfully short, so it's not super. It's the mug with the crack they keep, in the song skipped and the ones replayed. It's the way they wait or don't, in the silences they speak like unsent letters. No costume, no declaration, just the quiet imperil left on everything. A shadow folding into light. It's a slow unveiling in a language spoken so softly, between moments never fully known, always becoming.
Oh, great. You're talking about publication. Are you guys, it doesn't matter, I guess, but do you have a plan for these? Or it's just you want to do it and get that emotion out, and that's enough?
I feel
It sounds like.
I mean, I do have hopes to eventually publish in the future.
Yeah.
I want to post like a collection of poems, maybe just on the internet,
Sure.
because I don't know, like it's really hard to get published. And, we all have tried to get published. I think all of us have at least submitted something once,
Sure.
but there's a lot of no's and over yeses, So I feel like publishing is maybe just something that I would look forward to in the future, but I wouldn't count on it.
I'm totally with you. I've been involved in writing for some time at some level, and it's changed. The publishing world has changed over time. I don't know so much about poetry. I suspect it's the same, but novels. There was a time, late 40s through the 50s, when a publishing house would nurture and take a chance on an author. And now it's like, if you're not Stephen King, we're not interested.
It's definitely harder for sure.
So if you want to publish, would self-publishing be something you'd consider?
I mean, I know it costs a decent amount of money, but
Maybe not.
Not always. You can find your avenues, but
Yeah. Do you guys know Barbara Drake? You do.
yeah, I do. Yeah.
So she wants to get together with me and you maybe, and talk about how to produce a chapbook.
Yeah.
So that might be something that,
Something to look into for sure.
yeah. And places like Lulu, I think that they'll do as little as one book, and it's kind of $5 or something, or $6 or something. So
Yeah.
anyway, the reason that I pursue that is the goal. If the goal is sharing, that's a way to get that out and share. Of course, the internet is as well.
Yeah.
But to me, a physical book is.
Yeah, I think for
little
us
bit
too,
more.
also on that note of sharing, like part of the way we've come to do that is just like in public, like reading them aloud.
Right.
So like in a sense, they're published through just community, conversation, right? Like maybe Rory reads a poem at one of our open mics, and then somebody who didn't know her hears it and goes home and says, "Oh, I heard this really great poet today."
Right.
And then just from that, like you're getting your name out there, you're getting your work out there, and somebody, even if it's just one, might be affected by it.
Honestly, without trying to be cute, I think we just published 3 poems. No,
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
this will be available.
I think so.
So, guys, anything else? Any thoughts about maybe the club? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of exciting stuff for next year. We're meeting a couple times over this summer to plan out some new things happening. We'll have another 4 open mics at the high school.
Okay.
We really hope that you guys come out and support them. We work really hard on those, and these kids are amazing. Like they are, and there are so many more of them like these two that are just so
Right,
talented and
right.
deserve to be heard. So
Yeah.
come hear them, spend that time, right? We'll have all the dates for those published soon on our Instagram at Grizzly Poetry Club. And then just be on the lookout for all the other cool stuff that we do. But
Yeah.
I'm just really proud of
Yeah.
all of them. And all
I
the work they
wonder
do.
if could AAYC be some support?
Yeah, any way that you guys want to help.
Okay.
We,
Well, I'm You say you guys are
Or
not so involved,
AYC,
but
yeah.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in good communication. I recently moved to Mac and
Okay.
starting to get my footing in the door a little bit. So I've met quite a few members of AOIC now that
Okay.
we're looking forward to doing some cool things together. So
Great.
yeah,
We're going to talk
Sure.
in a little bit here.
Sure.
So thank you, guys.
yeah.
Folks, that's it for this time. This is Stephen W. Long, The Writing Life, and come back and see us again.